Have you been dreaming of travel but not sure where to go or how to begin planning? Well, you found the right podcast.
Welcome to Theme Parks and Passports, the travel podcast for every family ready to explore the world, one destination at a time. I'm Melissa Sanchez, travel addict, wife, and mom of 2 big kids. Along with planning all my family adventures, I've been helping others realize their travel dreams through my company, Spellbound Vacations, since 2010.
And I'm Heidi Mackey, a travel enthusiast with a passion for geek and pulp culture. I'm also a wife and a mom of a spicy tween. Since 2017, I've been creating vacation memories for families through my business, House of Mackey Travel. Join us as we share stories, tips, and talk to those in the know to inspire your family's next great adventure.
Because creating family travel memories can happen in any stage of life.
Hi, and welcome to Theme Parks and Passports. I'm Heidi of House of Mackey Travel.
And I'm Melissa with Spellbound Vacations. Today, we're going to jump into the fun and spooky topic of theme park travel during the Halloween season.
I have to tell you, this is my favorite season to travel. My husband and I were married in October, and so just like my birthday, I kind of use that as a reason to go traveling. So we've done all sorts of different travel in the fall. It's like my favorite. And if we can sneak in something Halloween, then I'm like totally down for it.
Yeah, I love doing the Halloween stuff. And you're going to find as we go through our topics today that Halloween doesn't necessarily stick just towards October.
Oh, absolutely. But you know what? Let's do this in an orderly fashion. Let's start on the East Coast with Walt Disney World and Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. So as of right now, the tickets are on sale, of course, and they do start as early as August, right, Melissa?
Yeah, their select dates beginning August 15th, which is insane to me. Middle of August, let's dress up for Halloween, but hey, it's definitely a lot of fun. And Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party runs through October 31st.
Right. Now, Halloween, that's the part that sells out right away. So if you really want to go around Halloween, unfortunately, they're already sold out. Get in touch with Melissa and I, and we'll keep you informed about next year's tickets. But if you're willing to stretch the Halloween season, maybe to touch a little bit of Summerween, then yeah, the August dates are still available at the time of this recording.
Yep. And same for September. For Walt Disney World, the only date that's sold out, like you mentioned, is Halloween. So all the rest of the dates through October, September, August, those are all still available. But let's jump into what is offered during Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. You've got trick-or-treating through the park. There are special meet and greets where the characters are dressed in their Halloween costumes, and they are so cute. It's everything from, it can be Donald Duck dressed up as a pumpkin, or, sometimes Minnie Mouse or Mickey Mouse dressed as like Count Dracula, vampire. They are super cute. And then you have the Mickey's Boo to You Halloween parade. That tends to happen many of the nights. It goes on 2 times. There's an early and a late parade. And then you have the not so spooky spectacular fireworks.
Right. And then, of course, Disney's known for its shows. So they're doing Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular. That's what they've done the last couple of years. And Zombie 4, Dawn of the Vampires. It's a new movie that's out. And so they've definitely integrated that into this season.
Yeah, they have. That's a new thing there. So we have been, as a family, multiple times to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. We went when the kids were little and we dressed up. One year we dressed as a baseball team. That was the year we did a multi-gen trip and my parents were with us. Another time we did a multi-gen trip with my in-laws. The boys were dressed as pirates and the girls were dressed as witches. So that was a lot of fun. We've been with friends, and my husband and I recently did Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party by ourselves.
Oh, really? How was that?
That was a lot of fun. It's very different than going with your kids because we didn't care so much about the trick-or-treating and getting the treats and the candies, but I wanted to make sure that I got the PhotoPass Memory Maker pictures and saw the Hocus Pocus show and made sure I didn't miss the parade. So my priorities were a little bit different than when you're with the kids. And a lot of times their focus is still meeting the characters and getting the candy. Have you experienced this event, Heidi?
I have been to Walt Disney World during Halloween. When my daughter was younger, we actually ended up not going to this specific party because of actually, it's a separate ticket, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a separate ticket outside of the tickets, and it starts at a different hour. So some of the logistics just didn't work with the time that we went when my daughter was little and really would have totally eaten this part up. And I'm super excited to take her as a young adult now to be able to go and check it out. I think that she's going to take things in very differently. And again, the logistics is what kind of stopped us.
Yeah.
But I think that that's not as much of a problem anymore. The rides are open, right? The ticket is totally worth it.
Yeah, so one of the great things about while it does run late, right? The event does run late. So if your kids are younger, it's definitely something you'll have to think about. Party usually begins at 7 and runs until midnight. Hours can vary, but that's standard. But with your Halloween party ticket, you can actually get into Magic Kingdom at 4 p.m. So it's one of those things where you can say, okay, today we're going to sleep in, we're going to enjoy the pool. Then we're going to go over Magic Kingdom with our party ticket at 4 and do just the regular theme park stuff at Magic Kingdom. The park itself will close at 6 p.m. to non-party guests. So if you are a non-party guest, if you have not purchased a ticket, you will be asked to leave. And I have had clients on that side, and believe me, people are not happy when they realize that. What you need to do if you do have a party ticket is there's cast members throughout the theme parks. You'll get a bracelet, and they will ask you to see your bracelet if you try to get on a ride, or if you're going trick-or-treating or something along those lines. You need to have that bracelet visible because they will say to you, I'm sorry, you can't get on. So just something to think about on a party night is if you don't have a party ticket, the park will close at 6 and you will need to leave at that point.
So something else I want to point out about this is that one of the cool things about this, and one of the reason why so many people love participating in this, is that this is the one time that adults can dress up in costumes, right?
They can, but there's obviously you need to check the restrictions, but you can definitely dress up in costume. Just again, make sure you read those rules and restrictions because God forbid you show up and they tell you your costume's not acceptable. So
Absolutely. But
you know,
it gives you the ability to do less Disney bounding and a little bit more close to the actual character when you're doing those family costumes and things like that. This is the
yeah,
one time that those restrictions are brought down. But yeah, there's still
yes,
definitely appropriate and basic restrictions that are on the costumes.
yeah. And Heidi and I can guide you through all of those.
Outside of Mickey's Not So Spooky, I mean, it's you don't go just for that. All of the hotels are themed. The parks all have beautiful decorations. There's nothing like being in a Disney park during the fall, right?
Yeah, no, it's gorgeous. I love that time of year too. And, while it's still hot, really hot, because it's Florida, the evenings aren't quite as bad as, that midday sun, which is really nice. But let's move on to Universal's Halloween Horror Nights. And this is an event that is not for the faint of heart. You want to talk opposites? Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party and Universal's Halloween Horror Nights, complete opposite sides of the spectrum.
I don't think you could get more far away from each other, right?
No, you definitely can't. I know I love to be scared. I love Halloween. I love scary movies. I love all that kind of stuff. And I was scared when we went, but we loved it. And we just went this past year, 2024. Just like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, the Halloween Horror Nights runs on select nights beginning August 29th through November 2nd. There are tickets on sale now. And as of this recording, there are no sold out nights. So even Halloween night was still available. I just looked on the website this morning. So that's as of this recording at the beginning of July.
It's one large haunted house with a ton of geeky fun. Like, how could you not love something like that, right?
Yeah, it's so fun and just scary. Like it really genuinely is. And actually scary enough that there is a disclaimer. This event is not recommended for children under the age of 13. So that's something just to keep in mind that, your 5 or 6 year old, every kid's different, but you want to think long and hard before you're bringing them to Halloween Horror Nights.
Speaking of haunted houses, they actually separate themselves into five different houses that have been confirmed so far. But the whole park is taken over, and you'll walk into a world that's completely immersed in whatever the theme is. And the theme isn't necessarily what you would expect when you walk into that section of Universal. You kind of don't know what you're going to be walking into, right?
Right, along with their haunted houses that you tour, there is also what they call their scare zones, and that's where, you're gonna find the zombies or the guys with the chainsaws, or maybe you're gonna find Megan dancing in the streets, it's definitely as you walk through the park, there are the different scare zone areas.
Right. And they're themed specific to a lot of very cool Universal properties. So that means Friday the 13th. There's a whole themed area for the Jason universe. And then I've heard this year, I know people who are super excited about it. They're actually going to bring Five Nights at Freddy's completely to life, which I think will be very, very cool. Not only the movie, but I know the video game is huge. My daughter was obsessed with this for like
Huh.
a year. I don't think she could survive it in real life, but she was super excited to hear that it was coming.
Oh, that's fun. What Universal does is they announce the houses little by little. So we only know, like you said, a couple of them now. And one of the cool things with Halloween Horror Nights at Universal is the add ons. You can add on things like Express Pass, just like you can with a regular Universal ticket. They offer tours. So there's a couple of different options for tours. I'm not going to get into all of them here, but if you want to do a VIP type tour during the event, they have something that they call RIP tours. You still have to purchase the event ticket and then you purchase the RIP tour, but it gives you that VIP access to all the haunted houses. And then once the tour ends, you still have that unlimited express pass for the rest of the evening. So definitely, if you're with a group of friends, this is something to think about. Let's do that RIP tour where we've got a tour guide bringing us through the express pass lines, and it's definitely a great add-on there.
Yeah, absolutely. And just as a side note, that if you're walking through the parks when it's not one of the specific nights in the after dark, it's almost spooky. You see the areas set up, but they're not
Yeah.
alive yet. So it's almost, it has an aura to it. So even if you're not ready to be completely immersed, going to Universal during the fall and Halloween season is still just as like, it gives you the creeps still, but in a good way, right?
It does. And one thing to note too, if you're, traveling with younger kids, you're a little bit nervous about it even during the day. The event is only at Universal Studios. So, Universal Islands of Adventure, there's nothing there. And honestly, during the day, most of the things they're covered in black tarps. Like, you don't need to worry that if we're there for the afternoon, it may be too scary. It won't be. While everything is out, it's covered. A child isn't even going to realize that it's going on.
It's more decor at that point.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it gives you, like I said, the aura of it, but it doesn't give you the scare of it.
exactly. But I will say it is definitely something not to miss. It was so, so fun. And one of the other cool things that they do, and Disney does this too with Mickey's, but I love how Universal does this with their Halloween Horror Nights is the food and the themed treats and drinks that you can purchase. And that's something too, like they'll announce before the events, like, here's some of the specialty food. And I don't know about you, but a lot of times when I go to events like this, if I've bought tickets to the special events, I will actually make a list of the food that I want to try. and make sure I don't miss it. Like, I have to get this drink or this burger or whatever the snack might be.
Right. And it's not exclusive to the season, it's exclusive to the event. So we're talking
Yes.
kitchens turned completely over to just offer this food during that time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
And drinks and
Mhm.
experiences and popcorn buckets and things like that.
Yes.
And there's
Very
even some
true.
merchandise that's kind of held
Mhm.
secretly for these events
Yeah.
too. So if you're
Yeah.
if you're an ears person, there are certain times you can only get certain ears.
That's right. There
Um,
are.
so let's take a minute and let's jump over to the West Coast and Universal Hollywood. So this event is going to be similar to the Universal Studios in Orlando, but it's 8 terrifying haunted houses plus scare zones and scary entertainment.
Right. And the Hollywood version, just like your version in Orlando, it does offer the RIP tours, express pass add-ons, and those similar extras that you can add on to the event.
Right, but sometimes they'll be a little bit different. They won't be having the same houses in both, and the experience is going to be different. The parks are actually very different from each other, aren't they? They have similarities, but just like Disneyland and Walt Disney World are not really the same experience, though they carry similar names, right?
Exactly. The experiences will be slightly different because with Universal Hollywood, you're literally just that one park. It's Universal Hollywood. So everything's going to take place within that park. Whereas at Universal Orlando, you have Islands of Adventure and Studios. The event takes place in studios, whereas Islands of Adventure, you're not going to find any of those Halloween Horror Night things there. It's only at studios. And with Hollywood, you only have that one park. So obviously everything's within that one park. And right now, Universal Hollywood has confirmed 2 of their haunted houses as of this recording. The Jason Universe, as we mentioned before, think Friday the 13th, and Fallout, which is supposed to be like a post-apocalyptic LA. But I do believe Fallout's also going to be in Orlando, if I read the information correctly.
Right. I think the only one that they haven't confirmed that's going to be at Universal Hollywood yet is the Five Nights at Freddy's. They've only said Orlando. They've not said anything about Hollywood, but who knows what the days and the weeks will bring, right?
Right, exactly.
So then let's talk about Disneyland California Adventure Park. So on select nights beginning in August, mid-August through the end of October, just like at Walt Disney World, they can have a Halloween party also, but it's an Oogie Boogie themed Halloween party instead of it being the Mickey's Not So Scary. So two completely separate types of events. There's thrills and chills for every member of the family. Plus, there's a frightfully fun parade. So it's going to be a slightly different parade. My favorite thing is when they do the layover of the Haunted Mansion and turn it into a Nightmare Before Christmas themed
Yes.
ride. I mean, being able to do that ride that you know and love almost, you can do it in your sleep. Having it changed up just is so much fun, and definitely you can't miss it. And then there's also a whole bunch of mysterious trails that you'll be going along. So they take over the park much like they do with Mickey's Not So Scary, but the party is Oogie Boogie themed, and the way that they change up the park is a little bit different. What other highlights would you have for California?
So the Oogie Boogie Bash tickets are on sale now. There are some nights that are already sold out for that one. Oogie Boogie Bash tickets tend to go much quicker than the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party at Walt Disney World. So this is the sort of thing, if you know you're going to be there, you need to buy them now. Like, now is the time to get those tickets. Similar to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, Oogie Boogie Bash, you'll find the special character meet and greets. The characters are going to be dressed up in just different costumes. Their parade is a masquerade cavalcade. If you're not sure what a cavalcade is, they're like little parades. They're not the big, huge ones. They're smaller parades with less characters, but they're still lots of fun. And then one of the big differences between Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party and the Oogie Boogie Bash is there's actually a VIP tour that you can purchase for the Oogie Boogie Bash. So that kind of adds to the experience. Doing that makes it a little more personalized, a little more VIP, if shall we say. Now, I have not done the Oogie Boogie Bash in California, but I have been there in September. So I have experienced the Haunted Mansion being overlaid with the Nightmare Before Christmas. It's awesome. And that's one of the cool things about this is that if you're not there on a party day or you haven't purchased the party tickets, you can still experience that part of it. And it's so fun. It's definitely a do not miss.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna shift us a little bit more and let's start talking cruising. Sound good?
Yeah.
My favorite, of course, and I think the one that just does it because that's what they do, is the Disney Cruise Line. For select cruises in October, they have a theming called Halloween on the High Seas. And they do this for most of their ships that are going through in October. Not all, but most of their ships in October. During this season, what they do is they feature a pumpkin tree that's a centerpiece in the lobby atrium. And they do all sorts of other cool and fun things. The tree itself is just, it's breathtaking. So I'm a little bit obsessed. It starts to light up, and over the course of your cruise, it gets brighter and brighter. And they'll go from regular pumpkins to, at the end, jack-o'-lanterns in full glow. And at night, when they kind of turn down the lights a little bit, they tell different stories and they talk about the legends under the pumpkin tree. I think it's actually the storytelling caretaker of the tree shares what he calls the legends
Yes.
of the pumpkin tree.
Yes. Yeah, that is one of our favorite things too, is in the evening when the pumpkin tree talks, it sings, it's so cute and it's so fun. And this event is definitely, it's spooky, but I use, my finger quotes, spooky, but it's really so much fun. There's so many Halloween themed activities on board, everything from the trick or treating to crafts to the decor to special, Halloween events. And then also in the atrium along where that tree is, there's different Halloween shows, including the Sanderson sisters. And you've got the other characters who come out and do a dance party and dressed up in their Halloween costumes. There's a show out on the pool deck with them. It's so much fun. And some of the characters on there are some that you can't always see all the time.
When we did ours, they had a 4D Nightmare Before Christmas at the theater.
Oh,
And
cool.
think snow falling from the ceiling when Jack's walking through the snow.
That's awesome.
And puffs of air when things exploded. It was amazing. It was so much fun. And then at the end of the show, Jack and Sally literally came into 4D and we were able to meet them. It was my daughter's like highlight. She loved it. It was the most amazing thing. So, Jack and Sally aren't going to be on other sailings during the year. The other thing that I remember the most, I remember the Fab Five costumes, of course, but Chip and Dale and their super cute outfits was a lot of fun too. They're on most of them, but the extra step of doing the different costumes so specifically for Halloween was just, it sticks in my memory so much.
Yeah, they're so cute, and we actually waited in a really long line to meet Jack and Sally because that line, you can look up what time characters are meeting, and you'll also find it on some of the screens throughout the ship itself too. It'll tell you what time. If you see Jack and Sally meeting, expect to get in line at least a half an hour beforehand if you actually want to get a picture with them because that was one of the hardest ones to do, that and the Sanderson sisters. But what I found with the Sanderson sisters is that everyone wants to do it at the beginning of the sailing. If you wait until a couple days into it, it's usually a lot easier because everyone's already gotten their pictures because they did it at the beginning. So if you really want that picture, wait a couple days in because they will be meeting just about every day. It may not be every day, but just about. And so you should be able to get it in there at some point during your sailing. And again, this is the Halloween on the High Seas. It's select ships, it's select sailings. It's not going to be every sailing. during the fall months. So if this is something that you are interested in, you definitely need to reach out to Heidi or I so that we can get you on the correct sailing that's going to have this event going on, because I would hate for you to go book on your own, think you're going to have this awesome Halloween sailing and it's just a regular one.
And itinerary is important too. The
Mhm.
shorter itineraries don't have enough time to get all the pieces in there. So
Yeah,
if you're looking to do something specific, we have a few tips and tricks that we can try. We can't guarantee anything's going to happen on the ship because unfortunately we're not privy to that, but we can try our hardest to get you where it's most likely going to happen.
exactly. So let's step away from theme parks and cruises and talk just a little bit about a few destinations that we have visited that have that Halloween feel really all year long.
Of course, the first one I think of is Salem, Massachusetts. Melissa, have you been to Salem before?
So I grew up in Massachusetts. I have been to Salem multiple times.
It's a rite of
Admittedly,
passage,
not.
isn't it?
It is. I mean, really, like, who lives there and doesn't go? But probably a lot of people, let's be honest. But really, I have never been during the Halloween season. I can tell you, my understanding is it's absolutely insane. The crowds are crazy. There are some special events that go on. If that's something you want to do, you need to book that pretty far in advance. I mean, some of the hotels we're talking, like, if you want to go in 2026, let's say, this fall, we can start booking your hotels for that. But fun things about Salem is that you don't have to go at Halloween to get that spooky vibe. Like, I've been in the winter, I've been in the summer, although I will say, if you go in the colder weather, there are some things that are not open year round. So you definitely want to take a look if there's specific things that you want to do. There are some shops that aren't open year round. Not all of the psychics are there year round. So in that winter season with the cold and the snow, because really is a low season for them, you have to keep that in mind. But when you're there in the summer, the psychic readings, the witch museums, just the whole vibe of it is so fun. I've done ghost tours there in the evening, and it's just. Side note, we did a ghost tour. Now this was a few years back. Now this guy could have been a plant. I don't really know, but a guy took a picture and there was a ghost in it, and, I mean, we could see it, you know? I again, was it real? I don't really know, but I've done a lot of ghost tours in a lot of cities. It's something I love to do, and that's the very first time I ever saw somebody say, "Oh my god, I got a picture of something." So, who
Talk
knows?
about adding
Hey.
to the experience, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then New Orleans. New Orleans is an up and coming Halloween destination, but also a destination that honestly, you can get the spooky vibe all year long. Have you been there?
I have. I loved it. It was amazing. The food, the ambiance, like there wasn't one thing that I didn't love and felt completely immersed in. And it's becoming a destination for Halloween because of its
Mhm.
core, but that's something you can do all year round. It's also nice because no matter when you go, you can get a little bit of Mardi Gras in there too. So it's almost like having two completely different experiences in one. You can have an evening of Mardi Gras where you're just hanging out on Bourbon Street, and then the next night you can do the ghost tours and wander through the graveyards, and it's so amazing. It's so much fun. And the food, oh,
Wow.
the food
Yeah,
is
that could be a whole episode in and of itself is New Orleans. But we have done, again, not in the Halloween season, we've done it in the summer. We've done these cemetery tours. We did this really fun vampire tour, and I'm gonna date myself a little bit here, but when we went and did this vampire tour, it was when the show True Blood was super popular. So our tour ended right by this bar, and the bar happened to have an outdoor courtyard where they were gonna be showing that night's episode of True Blood. So we did our vampire tour around the city, then went into the bar, to the outdoor courtyard, ordered a couple drinks, sat there and watched True Blood. So really a fun experience. You can really add really to any city but you can add these little personal touches, like the fact that we love True Blood. So we went to the bar and we watched it. It added to our spooky experience when we were there in New Orleans.
So I think that's what we wanted to highlight. That doesn't mean that there aren't other things that are out there, right? There'll be other cruise lines and destinations that have Halloween experiences for sure. If you would like more information on any of these or finding out what other experiences maybe are around you or are part of a trip that you're coming up with, feel free to reach out to Melissa and I. We'd be more than happy to share the information that we've got with you.
Absolutely, and get you sent on your trip. So it's that time of the podcast. It's a this or that, probably an obvious one. But Heidi, would you prefer Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party or Halloween Horror Nights?
So I'm a complete chicken, which we've established in
True.
other episodes. I have had a heart-stopping fear of haunted houses since I was a kid. And my dad's secretary was working at the haunted house that we went through, so she was a bit more familiar with him than others. And I was directly behind him as he got completely attacked by this person. But the theming of it draws me in. Believe it or not, if I could only pick one to go to, I would go to Halloween Horror Nights so that I could check it off my list and not have to go.
All right. Admittedly, I would do Halloween Horror Nights also. I've only done it once. We had so much fun. However, I think next time I would like to try doing it with the RIP tour. I'd like to experience that. We did have the express passes when we did it, so we were able to go through the express pass line. But I'd love to kind of get that more VIP experience. But Halloween Horror Nights is my choice right now.
Yeah, give me a couple years, maybe things will change, but I agree with you.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us for this spooky episode of Theme Parks and Passports. We're so excited to have you join us.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit subscribe on Spotify or your favorite podcast player. And while you're there, feel free to leave us a rating and review.
Check out the show notes for links to Spellbound Vacations LLC and House of Mackie Travel. Until next time, keep living your best travel life.